So you've gone to all the trouble of making this gorgeous pond, and you go out one day and you look at your water and you say, oh my, what is going on? It's solid green. Well, it's that time of year where this happens, and there's a number of reasons why it happens. Number one, if you have fish in your pond, you don't have enough filtration, or you're not properly cleaning your filter pads to make sure that they're staying clean, you get algae. Remember, fish provide waste. Waste makes algae bloom. It's just the way nature goes. But there's a couple of things that you can do. Number one, filtration is critical, so make sure that you have a filter that's working extremely well. You can also use a UV light, which actually the water passes over that UV light, kills off any of the algae as it's passing through the water. That gets rid of it. Again, microbe lift, critical. It's the bacteria that you put in your pond that actually eats the bad algae, gets rid of it slowly. Now remember, it's a slow process because it's a bacteria. It's not an instant fix. If you have a lot of leaves that fall to the bottom of your pond and you haven't cleaned them out, you really need to use a product that's an Oxy Pond Cleaner. This also cleans the stones of algae and any of the rocks you might have in your waterfall, gets rid of all of that. There's a water clarifier that you can use that actually eats the little green particles that's making your water cloudy. That's a great product to use. The one thing I caution you about is using an algae fix product like this one. The reason I say that is because in the heat of summer, Algae Away does a very good job at what it's supposed to do, and that is it takes the oxygen out of the water, which means the algae can't breathe and it dies. The problem is it also takes the oxygen out for your fish, so never do it on a really hot day. Also, make sure that you have plenty of aeration in your pond. Pump needs to be running. You need to have an aerator that's running, something that's keeping that water moving so that those fish have oxygen. One good way to see if your fish are struggling, if they're coming up to the surface and they're opening their mouth at the surface of the water, they're gasping for air. That tells you algae fix is a problem. Make sure you get more aeration into that pond. So if you want clear water, a couple steps that you need to do. Remember, plants are a great way to shade the pond so there's not so much sun. Microbe lift is a great way to do that. Proper filtration. Check your pond constantly. I mean, your pond is a living organism that is constantly working. So algae is part of it, unfortunately. The hotter it gets, the more algae you get. But there's lots of ways that you can fix it, so you can sit back, look in that pond, and see your fish again.